Morning heat begins to rise over the African bush. A black rhino stands alone in the dry grass. At first glance, it looks untouchable. Its body is massive. Its skin is thick. Its horn can drive away almost any enemy. But this giant has a problem. Tiny parasites crawl through the folds of its skin. Ticks cling behind the ears, around the neck, and along the shoulders. Flies gather around the eyes. Every bite brings more irritation. The rhino jerks its head, it flicks its ears, it stamps the ground, then it lowers its heavy body into the dust. The giant rolls from one side to the other. Dry earth coats its skin, dust fills the folds and cracks. For a moment it helps, but not enough. The parasites are still there, so the rhino rises again and moves toward a tree. It presses its side against the rough trunk, it rubs its shoulder, it drags its thick skin against the bark. Still, there are places it cannot reach. Behind the ears, along the top of the neck, near the eyes, around old wounds and broken skin. That is where help arrives from above. A small bird watches from a branch. It is a red-billed oxpecker. Compared to the rhino, it looks almost weightless. A tiny body, sharp claws, a bright red bill. Then it drops from the branch and lands on the rhino's back. The giant does not react. The bird begins to walk across the thick gray skin. Step by step, it searches the surface like a hunter reading the ground. It stops. Its beak snaps downward. A tick disappears. Then another, and another. Now the oxpecker moves higher, toward the neck. It probes into the folds of the skin. It picks through the cracks where parasites hide. It works with quick, precise movements. The rhino stands almost completely still. This is a place the giant cannot clean by itself, so the bird keeps going. Soon it reaches the base of the ear. This is one of the most sensitive places on the body. Flies gather there. Ticks cluster there. Moisture and heat make it a perfect hiding place. The oxpecker leans in and searches deep around the ear. It pulls out another parasite, then another. The rhino flicks its ear, but it does not drive the bird away. That means the bird is tolerated. And in the wild, tolerance like this is valuable. The oxpecker is not just feeding, it is removing living irritants from a dangerous animal that could crush it with one step. Now it climbs toward the face. Its claws grip the skin as it balances near the eye. Its red bill works carefully through the wrinkles where flies and tiny pests collect. The rhino closes its eye. This is trust of a very unusual kind, a bird beside the eye of a giant rhinoceros. For a while, both animals benefit. The oxpecker gets food, the rhino gets relief, but this relationship is not as gentle as it seems. The bird moves lower and finds a damaged patch of skin. Perhaps it began as a scratch from brush. Perhaps another horn opened it. Perhaps insects kept it from healing cleanly. The oxpecker pauses, then it pecks at the wound. At first it may still be removing parasites or dead tissue, but then it goes deeper. The bird is no longer taking only ticks. It is feeding from the wound itself. This is the darker side of the partnership. Oxpeckers can help large mammals by removing parasites, but they may also keep wounds open and feed on blood. So the rhino's helper is not purely a cleaner. Sometimes it becomes something else. A partner, a scavenger, almost a parasite of its own. Still, the rhino does not shake it off, because even an imperfect helper can be useful. And the oxpecker has another talent. It is alert. Its eyes scan constantly. Its head lifts at the slightest movement. Its body is tuned to danger. Suddenly the bird freezes, then it calls sharply. The rhino lifts its head at once. Something is approaching through the bush. The bird saw it first. The oxpecker's warning gives the rhino a moment more to react. A moment to turn, a moment to listen, a moment to move. The giant pivots toward the sound and walks away into thicker cover. The bird stays on its back, one huge animal, one tiny companion. Their bond is not friendship, it is not kindness, and it is not loyalty. It is a survival deal written by the wild. The rhino offers food, shelter, and a high place to watch the world. The oxpecker removes parasites, gives warning, and helps reach the places the giant cannot reach alone. But the balance is never perfect. Sometimes the bird helps, sometimes it harms, sometimes it does both in the same moment. That is what makes this relationship so strange. A tiny red-billed bird walks across the body of one of Africa's most powerful animals. The giant allows it. Because in the wild, survival is not about comfort, it is about advantage. And for the black rhino and the oxpecker, that advantage is just enough to keep the partnership alive.